Hey guys, what's up? My name's Caitlin. This is my channel. Welcome. Hello. Nice to meet you. So I just saw Toy Story 4 a couple days ago, finally. It took me a little while to get there, but I saw it. And I just wanted to sit down and talk about it a little bit. I'm not a professional movie reviewer or anything like that, so don't hate me. Like, this isn't gonna be super, like, organized. It's gonna be probably very rambly and whatnot, but I just kind of, I'm a girl who loves Pixar and I just want to talk about the newest Pixar film, Toy Story 4. So I just wrote down a bunch of notes on my phone. It's gonna be a little bit all over the place, but I'm gonna do my best here. I think that the general idea that I have to start with before I even really get into the little things is, I think for me personally anyway, I think Toy Story 4 was clearly and by far the worst of the 4 films. Didn't hate it, I just had more issues with it than the other 3, I guess you could say. Yeah, the thing about Pixar is whenever I go to watch a Pixar film, I have very high expectations because Pixar makes really incredible movies, and Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 all just phenomenal movies. So going into Toy Story 4, I both had really high expectations because it was Toy Story, but also like I knew going in based on the trailer that this wasn't necessarily gonna be like the first 3, at least in my opinion. So with that being said, here's some things that I thought about the movie. I thought that by far best part of the movie was Key and Peele. I think they were so freaking funny. I think the whole plush rush like scene was hilarious, and just everything that they said, their little side comments. I think Key and Peele, absolute favorite part of the movie by far. Super funny. I also liked Forky more than I thought I was going to, because when I was watching the trailers I was like, dang, this Spork is really annoying. But he kind of became more likable to me in the movie than he was in the trailer, which is good. I also absolutely loved his obsession with trash, just because he was like, I'm trash, and I was like, everyone is like relating to this so hard in the theater because everyone calls themselves trash. Like, I feel like that's just what everyone does. So I thought that was kind of hysterical. I also think that the animation was amazing, and I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't matter how good the animation was, they're going into too much detail, blah blah blah. Like, give the animators some respect because the animation was beautiful. I just like right away like was thinking about the comparison between where animation was in the first movie to where it is now, and it's just really remarkable the things that they're able to do, and I have so much respect for the people who animated this movie. They did an amazing job. The detail, the color, and everything all together was just beautiful, and I really respected that. So now I'm gonna kind of get into some of the things I didn't love about the movie. Feel free to disagree because these are just my opinions. You can totally disagree, that's okay. I don't care. So I think I had a lot of issues with the movie. Okay, one of my biggest issues with this movie, I think, is that this whole time, Gabby is like trying to literally rip Woody's voice box out of his body. Like this is some violent stuff that she's literally like, think about this in terms of human, like she's just trying to like rip the voice box out of his body very violently. And then out of nowhere, kind of it just didn't feel right the way Woody was just like, oh yeah, you can have it, and then felt all this sympathy for Gabby. I just didn't get it. Like, I can see some of the point maybe they were trying to make. I don't really know. I just thought it was dumb. Like, she was the clear villain in the movie, and then they had to do this whole like, oh, she's actually just this lost soul who needs love. And I was like, no, she's evil and terrifying and a terrible person, but let's just make her into a good guy at the end because that's what we do. I thought that was dumb. And just the way it happened was just this kind of like quick switch, and I just didn't think it worked at all. And I hated that Woody just gave up his voice box for her because she was like an evil brat. That's what she was. And I didn't want to see a happy ending for her, no offense to her, but she was kind of the worst. So that's how I felt about Gabby. Also, I didn't hate Bo or anything. She just wasn't my favorite character, so it made the ending more difficult for me to be okay with because like, I don't have anything against Bo, I really don't, but like, she was never my favorite character in the first movie, and then this movie was very centralized around her, which is fine, which is cool. It made the ending difficult, and I'll get more into the ending in a second. But before we get there, I felt like the movie itself, like as a whole, was a lot flatter than a lot of the other Pixar films. I feel like they just kind of brushed the surface of like so much in this film, whereas a lot of the other movies just felt like they had more depth and emotion, and this one just didn't feel like a Pixar story. It kind of felt like a DreamWorks or something like that. Like, it just didn't feel to the same like emotional level as the other Pixar films that I've seen recently. I don't really know if that makes sense. Like, I can't really verbalize what I'm trying to say. It just didn't, the movie felt flat. I just feel like there were too many things happening and you couldn't really get to a deep place with any one of the storylines or any one of the characters because it was just so surface level. I don't don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if you agree, but that's just how I felt about that aspect. Oh yeah, the other thing, I felt like, one, I didn't like how Buzz was not in the movie very much. Also, maybe this is just me, but it almost felt like Buzz was a different character in this movie. He didn't come across as the same character that I saw him as in the first 3 movies. They made him, like, obviously Buzz has always been kind of dumb, but I feel like in this movie they just kind of pushed that to a whole new level, and like, I just didn't feel the heart from Buzz that I felt in the other 3 movies. He just kind of seemed like he was there just to be there because he's a main character and he's supposed to be there, so they just were like, yeah, we'll just throw Buzz over there. And then the movie was about like Bo, Forky, Woody. I don't know, I just kind of missed having Buzz because I feel like Toy Story's Woody and Buzz, and Toy Story 4 just wasn't Buzz at all. I don't know, I just didn't love that. Before I get to my final opinion on how the movie ended, because I have some stuff to say, I wanted to see where this movie would fall in my Pixar ranking. I don't know if you guys know, but I made a ranking all of the Pixar films video not too long ago. Let's see, I honestly haven't even looked. I'm gonna do this live with you guys right now. Where is this movie gonna fall? So the bottom of my list, number 20, was Monsters University. We're definitely ahead of that. 19's Brave, we're definitely ahead of Brave. 18 was Cars 3, we're definitely ahead of that. 17 was The Good Dinosaur, we're ahead of that one for sure. 16 was Cars 2, we're ahead of that one. Oh wait, 17 was actually Bug's Life, so 16, 15, 14, what's 14? The Incredibles. Ooh, I think I like this better than The Incredibles. I know, like, anyone who's watching this without having seen my picture thing is like, 14? The Incredibles? You're crazy. I have my whole reasons for not loving The Incredibles. It's all in the other video if you want to go watch it. 13 was Incredibles 2. Okay, I think I figured this out. So I think I'm gonna put Toy Story 4 at number 13 between Incredibles 2 and Up, because it definitely surpassed Cars 2, Cars 3, it surpassed The Good Dinosaur, Monsters University, Brave, A Bug's Life, but it definitely does not pass any of the other Toy Story films. So I'm putting, yeah, Toy Story 4 at number 13. If anyone wants to go see my Pixar ranking list, you can insert it between Up and Incredibles 2. That's where Toy Story 4 falls. But now I want to talk about the ending of the film. As the ending of the film started to occur, I didn't really know where it was going. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know what was about to happen. And then I see them start suggesting that Woody is gonna stay with Bo instead of going back with all his friends. Okay, so I see points being made. I see what they're trying to do. You know, Woody wasn't fulfilled in his life anymore and he needed to do something new and blah, 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 blah. But as I saw this start happening, I turned to my brother, because I was with my brother, and I was like, this is some bullshit right here. I hate this. And I did hate it because it made me very emotional. But the other thing that just, I get that he wasn't feeling fulfilled and he needed to do something new, but it also just didn't feel right. Woody leaving Buzz and going with Bo. I get it, but I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like, I get what they were trying to do, but I hated it. I think it was stupid and it was horrible. I also think the other thing that, of course the ending was sad. It did make me cry a little bit because Woody and Buzz were separating, which was no. But I think in order to make that separation and that exit from each other's lives as emotional and deep as it needed to be, they needed to make the movie, the 4th movie, which I assume will be the last movie, I hope. The 3rd one should have been the last one, let's be honest. But if this was gonna be the last Toy Story film, I think it needed to be about Woody and Buzz. And it wasn't. They barely interacted in this movie. And that, I hated that. I hated it so much. And if the movie had been about Woody and Buzz somehow working together to achieve a goal instead of them separately doing things, I think it would have made the ending just that much more heart-wrenching. And of course that couldn't work because, you know, then why would he go with Bo? But there was just so much disconnect, I feel like, when you got to the end of the movie, and it didn't feel right, him going with Bo. Something about it just felt off and it didn't make sense to me. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like the ending, and when Pixar hit me with that To Infinity and Beyond, I was like, no. Nope. Get that away from me. Didn't need that to rip my childhood to shreds. So thank you Pixar. That was really nice of you. Remember in You've Got a Friend in Me when they're like, our friendship will never die? Well, it did die because Pixar killed it. Woody and Buzz, their friendship is now dead because of Pixar. So as you can tell, I didn't love the movie. I didn't hate it. Like, if it were a standalone film done by a different company, I might have liked it. But knowing that it followed 3 incredible movies by a company like Pixar, it just diminished its quality for me, especially because the ending of the 3rd movie was perfect. That was the perfect way to end the Toy Story franchise, was with Andy giving away his toys. Just so much symbolism in that. And then they had to take it a step further. Now like Woody doesn't have purpose in life. I don't know, guys. If they had ended Toy Story with the third movie, I would have been much happier with the entire franchise as a whole, but they didn't. So that's where we're at. So I think I hit upon all of the notes that I wanted to. I wrote down to infinity and beyond, this is some bullshit, because that's how I felt about that part. But yeah, that's how I feel about Toy Story 4. I'm sure I missed some things, and I know there are people who agree and disagree with things. Feel free to leave your comments down below if you have anything to say. But again, I'm not like a professional movie reviewer. This was just a girl who likes Pixar talking about a Pixar film. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the movie in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, thanks guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye!